Welcome back to my channel. Yesterday we discussed the two modern theories of origin and evolution of Earth. Let us move into our third theory. That is known as binary hypothesis, which was proposed by Russell. The name itself suggests that binary means two. So what he explained is that he considered a sun and companion star. What is the meaning of companion star? That we discussed in the earlier section. So, but still, instead of these two, there exists another third star he considered, which has a high speed than this companion star. So what happens means over a period of time, due to its high speeds, it's come in contact with this companion star, and this leads to the ejection of tidal filaments from them. Tidal filaments means a thread-like structure that is related to tidal materials that are comes due to tides. That is known as tidal filaments. So due to this contact, they leads to the ejection of tidal filaments. So what happens means the main concept what he explained means so due to this ejection over a period of time, they leads to the formation of planets around the sun, and after that similarly they leads to the formation of satellites around these planets. So according to him, the main drawback or criticism of this theory is it doesn't explain the present position of planets and the sun in our solar system, and also he doesn't explain what he said. The name suggests the binary theories, but the Russell doesn't explain how another thought star come into the existence and is get contacted with this companion star. There is no practical proof for that. That is the major drawback for his theory. Next, we'll move into our fourth theory, that is our Big Bang theory. It was proposed by Edwin Hubble in the year 1920. Also, I would say this is the most popular theory because it has the most significant evidences in our universe. So, let's move into this theory. Very interesting theory. So, what Edwin Hubble explained means over a period of 10 billion years of ago, there is a tiny body, single tiny atom, which consists of all materials and matter, atoms, masses, whatever it may be. All are packed and they are placed in a single tiny atom. So over a period of time, nearly 13.5 billion years ago, what happens means there happens a large explosion, severe explosion that we never expected. So due to this, all the materials and matter, atoms, whatever present in this tiny atom gets scattered in the atmosphere in such a fashion that leads to the formation of planets and satellites around the sun. So when this happens, initially the tiny atom has a infinite temperature and density. So when this expansion of universe is happened, the density and temperature gets automatically decreased over a period of time. That was the main concern given by the Edwin Hubble. Similarly, another theory was proposed, that is steady state theory, which is contradiction to theory these two Big Bang theory. Contradiction to Big Bang theory. That is our fifth theory, steady state hypothesis. In this way, what explained means they doesn't say that the density of this universe is getting decreasing when this expansion of universe occurs. What according to them, the density of the universe remains constant when there happens the expansion of universe. That is the major concern given by them. There is no definite beginning or ending for the universe. So whenever there is expansion of universe happens, here one thing you have to know that guys, expansion of universe is nothing but there is the distance or space between the galaxies is increasing. That is known as expansion of universe. Galaxy, the term galaxy means a system which consists of millions or billions of stars, planets. All planets come under this galaxy only. What you are talking about, planets, satellites, all the stars, all coming under this galaxy only. Galaxy only, all these atoms, planets, and all satellites present in galaxy only. We are all familiar with the Milky Way galaxy, right? This is about the steady state hypothesis, which is contradiction to the Big Bang theory. They said that in Big Bang theory, Edwin Hubble explained to us that when there is a expansion of universe, they leads to the decrease in temperature and density of the universe. But according to the steady state hypothesis, which was a contradiction to this Big Bang theory, there is no decrease in density or increase. It maintains a constant density throughout throughout the expansion of universe, and also the expansion of universe happens steadily in a steady state. Constantly it happens, and there is no increase or decrease. That is regarding our steady state hypothesis. Okay, right. Let's move to our next theory, sixth theory. That was electromagnetic theory, proposed by Harman in the year in the later years of 1950. So what he explained is that up to now what the theories we have discussed mainly concentrated on the gravitational force. Due to the gravitational force, a small mass of body particles or any other materials, cold mass particles or nebula hot body, some of the particles gets ejection when there is a bulge at the outermost part of the sun, and they leads to the formation of planets and satellites. But according to him, Halvin, what he explained to us means he said that when there is a impact on the gravitational force due to electromagnetic force, it was in the ratio of 60,000 is to 1. How much ratio that means? 60,000 is to 1 means that means he mainly considered that our atmosphere has consisted with the predominant force with the electromagnetic. That means, so over a period of time, what happens is due to these electromagnetic forces in the atmosphere, all the masses and the gaseous particles present in the atmosphere leads to the formation of a plane that was similar to in the sun, which the sun was rotating. So due to this, there leads to a separate orbits for all the planets to revolve around the sun. There leads a separate path due to this electromagnetic forces. The main drawback or criticism of this theory was it doesn't explain about the inner planets of the Earth. We only discussed that all of the majority of outer planets consist with gases in nature. That only he explained. He doesn't explain about the outer planets of the Earth. That is the major disadvantage of his theory. Let's move into our last theory. Okay, right. That is a dust cloud hypothesis. So, which was proposed by Weizsäcker. In this theory, what he explained is that nothing, friends, just he considered that our outer atmosphere or outer space of our universe consists mainly of gases in nature. So when we consider our Earth, it only consists of 1% hydrogen or helium in the Earth. But it is false when comparing to his theory. He said mainly our outer space consists of most of the gases in nature. So what he explained to us, nothing, friends. So due to these gaseous particles over a period of time, they leads to the erection of mass particles, and due to this, they leads to the formation of planets, accordingly satellites. And also he proposed two more theories in the years 1940s and 1955. In 1944, he explained there is a theory, nebular theory hypothesis that already we discussed. Similar to that, he explained in this nebular hypothesis that we seen firstly in ancient theory, nebular theory. In this nebular hypothesis, he modified some of the changes due to some mass particles. Similar concept in a similar manner he explained. And in 1955, he explained about the regenerated hypothesis. This theory is nothing but what he explained mainly in this theory was initially there is all gaseous particles present in the atmosphere. So due to this accumulation, the youthful and the young stars which are present in the universe are becoming old. That is the main concern of this regenerated hypothesis. Other than nothing is there, friends. That's it, friends. So up to now we completed all of our ancient and modern theories. So nothing, the main concept I already explained you in the earlier section. There is nothing due to some gravitational force or some other nebula or hot body. They leads to the ejection of some particles, and these particles leads to the formation of planets or satellites in the atmosphere. That is only we are seeing regarding the origin and evolution of the Earth. We successfully completed our first lesson, that is regarding origin and evolution of it. This is a simple concept. There is nothing difficult in this. All this mainly follows only one concept. Due to some nebula hot bodies, or due to some cold mass particles, or due to some companion or wandering or intruding stars, for a period of time, due to some gravitational forces or electromagnetic forces come contacting with each other, they leads to the formation of planets. So when the formation of planets occurs in a similar manner, they leads to the formation of satellites over a period of time. That is the main concept. Apart from nothing is there. And I will definitely congratulate you all you friends, those who are watching my videos. You definitely get knowledge in this area. There is no doubt in that. Definitely you will get some knowledge in this area. Right. As usually, let's move to our next, that is GK part. So the fourth largest river in the world is Mississippi. That we've seen in many areas. Regarding many areas we seen similarly, but we doesn't know what actually it is. Mississippi means MISSISSIPPA. Also known as Missouri, the fourth largest river in the world, present in North America. It has a mouth at Lakes Itasca and Minnesota. Lake Itasca and Minnesota, which has a length of 3,670 kilometers individually. When comparing with its tributaries, that means the sub-rivers, comparing with tributaries, it has a length of 5,971 kilometers, and it has a mouth at Gulf of Mexico and near New Orleans. That's about our GK part. Please like, share and subscribe my channel. Meet you in the next video with the next lesson. We successfully completed our first lesson today. That is origin and evolution of it. Until then, keep smiling. It's Tuli Teja signing off. Bye.